What is going on, you guys? It's your boy X-Rated. Welcome back to the channel. Check this out. So I'm about to give you guys some good stuff. Now, because I value your time and your expertise as gamers and a community, I'm going to make this video short, sweet, and straight to the point. Now, those of you who already know, Black Myth Wukong got that DLC flavor stirring up in the pot right now. So we cooking. And the only thing I can say is let them cook, right? So mind you, this is what we know so far, and I'm going to give you guys a collective perspective of what that is. Black Myth Wukong's DLC is allegedly scheduled to release both during the Chinese New Year of 2025, as well as a trailer. The trailer is allegedly coming sometime in August of this year, which is almost around the 1 year mark of Black Myth Wukong's release date, which we got the announcement of the DLC back in January of this year. Quote, DLC for Black Myth Wukong will come out somewhere near the Chinese New Year of 2025. That is right at the end of January or very soon after. Now, for those of you who already know, that's already the information we have thus far. That was confirmed, all that good stuff. So there has been a bit of an issue thus far with Black Myth Wukong's DLC development. Now, it's not really a big issue necessarily, but it could pose, like, you know what I'm saying, it could pose a delay in some form. Now, still, we have not got Black Myth Wukong as a, you know, we haven't really absorbed that Black Myth Wukong is not your standard Souls-like game, even though, according to Bloomberg, Black Myth Wukong will have a DLC that is similar to Elden Ring, and with that information we got, there was a further explanation on it. While a lot of fans were going crazy at the concept that, oh, Black Myth Wukong is going to pull out that Elden Ring style boss fights, this, that, and the third. Now, really what that means is that if you really want to, if those of you who haven't played Black Myth Wukong, or those of you who don't like Souls-like games, I recommend giving Black Myth Wukong, even Elden Ring, a chance, because you never know what could actually be. You know what I'm saying? Now, there is one thing that did raise an eyebrow with me, and that was the announcement that the Black Myth Wukong DLC would in fact be available to players regardless of their progress in the game. Now, I'm not sure how to really take that. Now, it's just my theory when I say this, but if they do say that the DLC is only available after a certain amount of progress in the game is completed, that's totally fine by me. Because my theory is that, as you guys can probably see in the gameplay footage, I believe that after the Yaksha King boss fight is where the DLC is probably available, because there are still unexplored areas within the base game that we have not been able to explore, which also gives room for growth, because obviously there are still a lot of bosses. You know, even if you don't beat the main bosses themselves, you still got sub bosses. And then you have, obviously, the main bosses you can progress through the story. That much is true. But, again, where is Black Myth Wukong DLC? Now, the most recent information that I have done some digging on, and this is according to GameFAQs, it says that some of the details have leaked, right? The leakers claim that Game Science is planning two or three expansions, and each one of them is set to be the size of chapters 2, 3, and 5 of the base game. The post also included supposed leaked concept art for the game's DLC, which was hinted at the bosses that may appear. This includes White Long, the Nine-Head Guai, Nija, and Sha Wu Jing. These are characters that appeared in the Journey to the West novel. In case you guys didn't know, give it a chance. However, the information is, like I said, it is also likely false, and according to people on Reddit, they were quick to debunk that the concept art was even real at the base. So that also doesn't really provide any clear. The leaker for that same leak also came back saying that Game Science would release a teaser for the DLC around the Chinese New Year, which clearly did not happen, obvious reasons. And if it is true, Black Myth Wukong players won't have to wait very long. However, now it also comes to focus as this. Should the DLC be released between, let's say, between August to December of this year, if not a little later, the latest I'm going to say the DLC will probably come out, the announcement at minimum will probably come out between at least the 1 year mark of Black Myth Wukong's release, or at the earliest of 2026. I say that because there are also a lot of Souls-like games that have got their DLCs coming out sometime this year, such as the Lies of P DLC, which is scheduled to come out this year. And obviously, you guys know that Elden Ring just released Night Rain, which has been a division in the Elden Ring fan base, and a lot of people are complaining about it. But that's another video for another time. And as you also know, they haven't released Black Myth Wukong yet for Xbox and PC, but they have announced a Xbox Series X port coming sometime this year as well. Now, time for my personal opinion. Do I see this DLC coming out? I would say yes. Do I see it coming out before the end of the year? I say 50-50. I say 50-50 because there's levels to having a DLC like this, especially if the leaks, and I'm using air quotes for that, if the leaks are actually true. If the leaks are actually true, and it seems to be the only thing that was debunked in the leaks was the concept art, but if the other part of the leaks, which includes the size of the DLCs, which they're called expansions in this case, if they are really the size of chapters 2, 3, and 5, then we definitely gonna have a lot more added to the Black Myth story versus, just a bunch of sub-bosses than anything else. Now, don't get me wrong, the base game is full of sub-bosses. And if you really are a die-hard player, then I'm 100% sure, just like me, you actually went out of your way to search for literally every single boss. Which, again, I'm not complaining, because I personally, when I first played Black Myth Wukong, first thing I did was, I'm going through every single boss. I want every level. I want every bit of smoke with every boss. You know what I'm saying? I don't care how small. I don't care how big. I just want smoke. That's literally my mindset. Especially considering me personally, I only got halfway through Elden Ring as a whole. I didn't even finish Elden Ring. I haven't even touched the DLC because I was getting beat so bad. So the fact that I've only gotten, I would say halfway. I'm not even sure what the halfway mark of Elden Ring is, because I know at this point in my Elden Ring playthrough, I have beaten at least 16 bosses. So as far as I'm concerned, I definitely see Black Myth Wukong making a comeback this year, and the DLC itself is probably going to drop early next year at the bare minimum, because we're already getting ready to touch the summer. The first day of summer is on the 21st of June, and that's coming up. So ladies and gentlemen, we need to lock in, because I know I'm locking in on my New Game Plus right now. I'm about to finish my New Game Plus on Black Myth Wukong at this very second. So what do you guys think? You think Black Myth DLC is going to be a hit or a miss? Let me know something.